When I got there on day 12, I noticed that he had 2 sores on each side of his face from the rope halter that I left on him, so I wanted to switch that halter out for a nylon halter that wouldn't rub him. So this is me just getting him used to the nylon halter in my hand. This has metal hardware on it, and it jingles when it moves, so it makes a different noise, so it was a little scary for him, but he still allowed me to approach him. So here I have the nylon halter secured around his neck, and now I'm going to begin to remove the rope halter. My goal was to do this all in one shot, so that way he didn't get away from me and not allow me to get a halter back on him. So I have to undo it from around his neck and then try to slip it up over his nose. And he got spooked by something and ran away. So I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to get a halter back on him at this point. So at this point, the halter's already over his nose. This is only the second time I've put a halter on him. Once he gets more comfortable with me being around him and he gets a little easier to catch, I'll start leaving the halter off and then putting it back on each time I go out, just to get him used to being haltered. But for now, it's just easier to leave it on him so that I can catch him a little quicker in the beginning instead of stressing him out. So this is day 13. I decided to just kind of do a little review of everything we started to touch on during the week. Here I'm asking him to yield his hindquarters, where he keeps his front end still and he swings his back end around his front end in a circle. I'm asking for just one step at a time, because asking for any more of that would be just too much at this point. The only problem he really has with this is that he tends to try to push me over with his head, which you see me fighting with him here. As he's taking steps, he's turning his head over top of me. I don't know if he's trying to bully me out of the way, but he's very willing to give me the 2 steps. It's just a battle during it to try to keep his head from running over top of me. So here we're working on backing up. This is backing without any pressure on the halter. I'm just using my body language and the stick to encourage him to back. He caught on to this fairly quickly. This is the second day we're doing this, so I'm asking for a little bit more. Yesterday I rewarded even if he just rocked his body backward and looked like he was thinking about taking a step, he got a reward. So today I'm asking for 1 to 2 steps before I stop and give him a break. Again, this is good for his stifle, so you can see he kind of got stuck there, but he walks out of it good. And you also notice how easy he walks back up to me. He's getting really good at leading. So this is desensitizing him to the rope. I just want to make sure that he's quiet with the rope moving all around him and with it touching every part of his body. In case while I'm working with him, the rope accidentally slips and bumps him in the back end or gets wrapped around his leg, I want to know that he's not going to overreact. He's still a little flinchy. I'm just looking for him to keep his feet still at this point. I give him a reward after he keeps his feet still for about 3 swings over his back. Once he's good with his back, I move on to another part of his body. Here I go to his neck next. And in between each time, I'm scratching and rubbing on him and telling him he's a good boy. And what you do on one side, you have to do to the other. So here I'm going on his right-hand side, which is his worst side. He is a little more nervous still of me being on this side, but he's getting much better with allowing me over there. It's not a battle to get on that side anymore. It's just everything I do, he's a little more flighty with. So here he starts getting a little bit nervous and starts moving his feet while I'm swinging it around his neck. I just follow him and keep doing it. Once he stops moving his feet and allows me to swing it over his neck, I'll stop and give him a reward to let him know that's what I was looking for. So now I'm just working up around his head, doing the same thing I did to his body, but this time in more of his direct sight line. So here I was able to actually swing the rope up and around so that it's now sitting on his neck. This gets him used to the feel of having something up around his ears. And in a second, I begin flicking it back over his body, just feeling the rope go all down his back. And then I get it looped back around his haunches. On the first day that he was here, I was using a long whip to try to reach out and touch him, and he took off running, and the whip actually touched him around the tail, and he was real quick to kick out with both hind feet. So the fact that he stood here on all this rope to go back around his haunches, I was pretty impressed with. And then I begin swinging it again around his head. This time I'm trying to get it so that it can loop around the other side of his body. And every time I miss getting it around his ears, it's just helping him get used to things being around his head a little bit.